Hello listeners, welcome once again to Views on Health as yet another Monday evening comes by, and as informed on the program last week, back with us tonight is Dr. Hasitha Liyanarachchi, consultant pediatrician, Lady Ridgeway Hospital, Colombo, and senior lecturer in pediatrics, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. An interesting topic was started last week on a baby's life at the very outset from day one to the first year. We covered approximately 6 months on the program last week, and we're going to cover the balance 6 months of the year, of the first year, on the program tonight. Welcome, Doctor, to our studios. And would you take on from where, like we left last week, where we discussed about the vaccination up to 6 months, and of course before that the feeding and the weaning, so to speak. Could you just tell us at 6 months, what does a baby do? Would the baby sit, crawl, try to stand? And also, Doctor, I think from our perspective, as we see it, not every baby does everything the same way.
Yeah.
So there may be that some babies do certain things and some babies do the same thing a little later.
Yes.
Though there is a time frame, but
Yes.
within that.
Yes.
And also, Doctor, one more question which I wanted to ask you last week, but unfortunately I didn't, was about when you talk about weight gain and all of that. Yes, important. But some children are so slim, some babies are rather slim, and some are chubby. And then we find that activities, the chubby one can't be as active as the slimmer one.
Slimmer one.
Over to you.
Yeah, actually, I'll answer that question first. Start from there. Yes, if you take the growth of children, actually, I think 3-4 decades ago, we were trying to put our children at the higher centile in their weights. Like, we want them to be fat as much as possible. And being fat was regarded as like something posh, something like... but now it's the other way around. Okay, so we are born with a weight. Okay, that's a birth weight, and now the current evidence say it's always safe for that particular baby to follow that centile, the weight that the baby has taken. Because if you are going to cross these centiles, if you are going to achieve a higher weight, that means you are asking for trouble. That's not healthy. And the vice versa. If you're losing the weight, if you're losing that trajectory, that is also not healthy. So we always encourage to follow the centile. The baby's been born. That is the healthiest thing that a child can, we can advise. Yeah. So that is the answer, I think. And then you ask me about how the development is going to be evolved from 6 months to 1 year, and whether there's a range. Yes, there's a range. That is a problem, because when there's an elder sibling of in that family, so parents are worried if the younger one is not doing that particular achieving that particular development milestone at the age where the elder sibling achieved. They become very worried. So you don't have to be like that, because there's a range for these things. That's why even the other day I told that even though we expect the 3 months or at 3 months for them to be able to maintain the head without any support, you can wait even for 1 more month and see whether that particular baby is going to achieve it at 4 months. That's still fine. But if he's not going to achieve it at 4 months, then you have to take your baby to the doctor. It's like that. If you take the milestone of whether the baby can sit without support, we expect them to achieve it around 8 to 9 months. But one odd baby might be doing it at 10 months. That's fine. That's fine. So it's like that. So there's a room, because there's a variation, because we are humans, biological elements. So there's a variation for everything. So we have to appreciate that. You don't have to worry. You don't have to be panic. But if it is delaying further and further, definitely in that case you have to seek medical advice. So by 10 months, they should be able to sit without support and should be able to use their hands independently. And by 10 months, they should be able to, 10 to 11 months, stand with support. And might be able to cruise, that is walk with support, lateral walking, we say. So those are the milestones, gross motor milestones we expect them to achieve by 1 year of age. Similarly, on the other domains like fine motor, we expect them to pick tiny things like rice and all, to put those things into their mouth, and we expect them to transfer objects, and that's under the fine motor. And vision also is important, because if there's a problem like it's better I talk about that as well little bit, because vision, they can see at birth. Okay, they can focus even, not as much as us, but they can focus their mom's face when they are latching on their mom's breast. So they can see you. That's why it's important as mothers, you talk to them, you look at them, treat them with a smile all the time, and be in a good mood. They are reading you, so they can see. And so vision is also going to be assessed in these assessments. And the hearing, they can hear. So that has to be checked as well. And the other important thing is this social domain, which is very important nowadays. I don't know whether, Fatima, you would have heard of this condition, autism. Okay. There's a problem with the communication. It's a problem with the communication. They are otherwise okay. Okay. There are other development milestones are sometimes supernormal. Okay. But they are poor in communication, which is a very important skill that you should have. So they show, the children with autism, they show the initial signs even during infancy. Okay, because we expect them to smile responsively by the age of 1.5 to 2 months. So if it is not there by 3 months, 4 months, you have to be alarmed about it. And usually they are very they should look at your eyes and ask for things. They can't talk, obviously, but they will ask in non-verbal methods, communication methods. So those things should be there. I agree that we expect them to speak a meaningful word at 1 year of age. Even it may take a couple of more months, but by 1 year they should be able to communicate with you, like in different modes, like using hands and expressions. Those things should be there. If those things are not there and they are on their own, and usually you don't have to put much effort to cuddle them, because they cuddle themselves, because they are occupied with their own things. So that is not good, really. As a human, we need to interact with others. That is the strength of us. So it might be missing in that particular baby. So you can even identify that problem even at that age. So that has to be told to our parents, really.
Something that I don't know if it is related or unrelated, but thumb sucking.
Yes.
Could you comment on that, please?
Even my daughter did it. Yes, thumb sucking. It's like this. It's a development milestone. Well, we expect them to take their hands into their mouth by the age of 1.5 months. If that is not happening, then we are worried. So that has to happen. But sometimes a few of them, not all the babies, keep on sucking their thumbs. It's way that they cuddle themselves, they somehow reassure themselves, and they comfort themselves. So, as if you ask this question from a psychiatrist, would definitely say no. You should never stop them. Let them do. That is the evidence. So you should let them do. Unfortunately, there's a slight risk. There's a problem with the dentition and the so you have to face it. But there are ways that methods that might prevent them sucking their thumbs. But as a pediatrician, I can't encourage it, and I didn't do that for my child as well. So,
As against that, and a pacifier?
Pacifier, I really recommend pacifier, because some patients they don't recommend, but that's one way of comforting themselves. That is a substitute that you can offer to your baby, and which might prevent your baby is going to keep on doing thumb sucking. So you can use the pacifier.
Thank you, doctor. Now, going on from there, now vaccination, you went up to 6 months.
Yes.
And there's 9 and 1 year.
Yeah.
Could you just
Yes.
speak on that?
Yes, because 9 months there's MMR, vaccine called MMR, which covers measles, mumps, and rubella, and 1 year Japanese encephalitis. So the one reason that we see these babies, because they have to come to the clinic, the MOH clinic. So during that visit, we do a full examination of the baby, and we look at the mum. And while addressing other concerns, we arrange this vaccination. It's very important to take this. And so that would prevent the diseases. The most of these are almost eliminated. We don't see these diseases. So some parents, they are scared, but it's not a good thing. As a society, we should somehow get our children vaccinated fully. So that's what I can give as an advice. So that's about the vaccination. And one more thing I have to tell, at 6 months in the clinic, we provide them vitamin and mineral mix. So it is important. We have found, especially among our children, certain microminerals are deficient at that age group. So from the MOH clinic, we provide. In the private sector, you can buy iron supplements and multivitamin supplements. So it is recommended as well.
Thank you. Doctor, now when they are development, when you take focus on that, now they're beginning to stand, and then they can crawl?
Yeah, crawling actually starts just before standing. They start crawling first, and then
yes.
they start stand
holding
with
on to
support,
something,
holding
and
something,
yes.
and then they walk with support. It's better to mention that some parents, as a support, to train their children to walk independently at an early age, they offer these walkers. Okay. You should never do that. That really inhibits. What you should do is let the baby on the floor, okay, and keep a fence around, like playpen like, and let the baby to play and walk, run within that area, and using those using the fence, they learn everything. And so if you provide the walker, what happens? That really suppresses the need of independent walking, because they can walk with because if I got a vehicle, why I'm going to walk? So I'm going to travel in the vehicle. But if there's no vehicle, I use my own feet. So it's like that. So we should discourage providing our children with a walker.
There's a point that I wanted to also ask you, but thank you for answering my question that was in my mind. So, doctor, that's covered, and then we get back to the food.
Yeah.
Now, they have been weaned, and they're going into more solid-based food, but all the while, if the mother has to breastfeed, that continues.
Yes, that is a recommendation. So you have to continue with your breastfeeding while continuing it, keeping gaps. Now we should give the priority to the meals. So starting with 2 main meals and a snack. After a couple of months, we advise them to start normal, like 3 main meals and 2 snacks. So the problem is during this process, because mom keeps on giving breast milk, no? And babies are, to start with, they're happy, they're accepting it, the new food. But after some time, you lose it, no? For humans, no? They lose that interest. And they try to cling on to mom and to satisfy with the breastfeed. That is dangerous, that is a problem. And then they start refusing food because it needs some extra effort. You need to like masticate and like lot of things you have to do. But sucking milk is very easy, and that is what they enjoy. They enjoy it. So they tend to keep on breastfeeding while refusing food. So the parents, what our parents do, as the child refuses food, they keep on giving more and more breastfeeds. So that is harmful because you can't get the energy which you are going to provide by giving solid food. You need to continue with the solid food. While continuing that, like you should keep this breast milk as something extra, like by 1 year, that's what we expect, because they should be able to take a family meal. Okay, and the other thing is the consistency and the variety of food. So variety in the sense like culturally, we are not using, we are not adding more animal source food, but you need to add more animal source food, and to each meal should contain and like at least a piece of fish or an egg or something like that. And you need to add oil into it as well. There are so many myths around this process. So I advise you all to, like, as parents, to read that book. Like it gives a lot of information and which is very useful and scientifically proven information. And then the other thing is the consistency. So they prefer this mash, like paste, but you need to introduce more like solid things. The consistency is important because I mentioned before as well, by 1 year of age, they should be able to take our family meals. But they are not ready unless we keep on giving, like increasing the consistency. So they prefer the smashed or the paste. Parents also keep on giving the paste because they can feed more by giving them this paste. But in particles, and then they may say no. So, but you should try and do that. Should not.
Doctor, another question that I'd like to ask you is, what about salt? Adding of salt into the food. Some time ago, I don't know whether this, but I heard that doctors don't recommend much salt in a child's food.
Yes.
Could you comment on that?
Yes. Actually, up until 1 year of age, we should not add salt into their diet, because salt is anyway there in fruits and other food, but we should not add salt. And the sugar, the same. We should not add sugar because it's too much for the kidneys. There are little kidneys to filter those. That's why.
Thank you for that very clear answer to those two sort of day-to-day, ingredients that go into food, sugar and salt. Dr. Time is catching up with us. So we have basically covered the sort of diet, the growth, and the fact that they need to communicate, and then the vaccinations. So anything else that you would like to add that covers this period of day 1 to 1 year?
I think we have covered all the relevant areas.
The important
important areas of an infant, which the general public needs to know. So
as you said, if you find that they are not communicating as they should, then you need to take notice.
yes.
If the weight is not the
Going
expected
along
weight, after a while you still have to take notice.
Yes, and all these information they are in this book that I have been repeatedly telling, CHDR, Child Health and Development Record. So it's a very important booklet every mom should read, and they have been given free of charge by the government. And since it's free, sometimes you feel like it's not important, but it's very, very important. Even for our medical students, we ask them to go through it again and again. There's a lot of information, even for us.
Thank you, doctor. And just one final question. There are some babies with less hair and some babies with more hair. I don't know if this is a tricky question.
Yeah.
You can just comment on that before we wind up.
Yes, actually, there's no clinical significance of it, like whether the newborn or the young infant is with full hair or not. No, there's no, because the newborn hair is going to be fallen at some point, and you are not going to predict the hair of that child as an adult. You can't predict. They are going to lose that hair.
And the hair will grow anyway.
It will grow anyway, yeah.
Thank you, doctor. On that comforting note, we end this very interesting discussion, the second part on day 1 to 1 year of a baby. Thank you so much to you, Dr. Hasitha Liyanarachchi, consultant pediatrician, Lady Ridgeway Hospital, Colombo, and senior lecturer in pediatrics, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. Once again being with us, sparing your valuable time and sharing your expert knowledge with our listeners on the program. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you very much, Fatma, for inviting me for this program.
Our pleasure, doctor. Thank you. Thanks also to Manjula Senviratna for technical assistance. I'm Fatima Razi saying good night. And looking forward to your company next Monday, same time on Views on Health.